What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Tonight, we not arguing lists. We translating visual intent. An album cover is the first conversation an artist has with you. Before the music, before the reviews, before the narrative. And I'm gonna give you what Billboard says are the top 10 rap album covers of all time. So let's start at number 10. At number 10, we got To Pimp a Butterfly. This cover was shot to feel documentary level real. It was never supposed to look polished. The group composition was intentional. This was about collective black identity, not one star at the center stage. The location mattered more than the faces. The White House was used as a symbol of power taken, not power requested. The cover felt like a newspaper photo from a revolution, not a marketing image. The message was clear. The music is about systems, not songs. At number 9, we got Get Rich or Die Trying. This image was built around one moment in time: survival. The shattered glass was the entire story. Bullets that didn't kill him, but tried. 50 standing behind that glass is a visual taunt to death. The message? You tried, but you ain't finished the job. The cross necklace is centered. Faith was never an afterthought in this image. The cover was not aspirational. It was confirmation that he shouldn't be here, but is. At number 8, we got Jeffrey. This image was designed to break expectations before you ever even heard the music. Everything about it was controlled opposition. The color palette was soft. The intent was not. The cover was about destroying the ideal of what a rapper should look like. The pose was deliberate, grace instead of aggression. The cover didn't ask for acceptance. It forced conversation. At number 7, we got Nasty as They Wanna Be. This cover was a direct response to censorship. It was designed to escalate. The creators knew exactly what would happen once it hit stores. That was the plan. The image pushed hip-hop into legal battleground. Not a moral one, but a constitutional one. This cover was about freedom of expression more than sex. People missed that then, and they still do. Its impact was bigger than its aesthetic. At number 6, we got the Don Illuminati, the 7-Day Theory. This image was built to feel mythical. Religious photography was used deliberately. The crown of thorns was not a costume. It was commentary about suffering and martyrdom. The stillness of the image created legend. This cover was about how he saw himself, not how the world saw him. It felt final. And that feeling is why it still haunts the culture to this day. At number 5, we got Ready to Die. This cover was shot by a photographer named Adam Farley, and it was built around one idea: innocence on the edge of destiny. The baby in the afro to represent a life at the start of his journey. The entire set was minimal on purpose. White wall, white floors, no props, no distractions. The only question they wanted you to ask was, how does a baby end up ready to die? The cover wasn't trying to match the album. The cover was trying to haunt it. Innocence and inevitable violence living in the same frame. The reason this cover sits at number 5 is simple. It don't show Biggie, but it shows everything about what built him. At number 4, we got My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. The cover that stores didn't want to sell, and Kanye knew that when he approved it. Painter George Condo created multiple versions of this cover, each one representing a different piece of Kanye's mental collision at that time. The most controversial version, the red backdrop, the figure straddling another, was designed to push America's threshold of acceptable art. The photo shoot didn't happen in the studio. It happened in Condo's mind, on a canvas. Brushstrokes, not cameras. The image looked like a nightmare, a dream, and a confession, all at the same time. The cover matched the album perfectly because both were about losing control in front of the world. At number 3, we got Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. The shoot for this cover was legendary. They poured fake blood over DMX's body in freezing temperatures. The director said DMX never flinched. He just let the blood drip and held the pose. It wasn't meant to be gory. It was meant to be spiritual. The idea was resurrection. A man covered in the symbol of his own battles. The image looked like a baptism in pain. The cover spoke for people who felt like their life was in constant warfare. It wasn't pretty. It was honest. And that's why this cover still feels like a testimony, not artwork. At number 2, we got Stankonia. This shoot was done like a movie poster for a new genre of hip-hop. The American flag behind them was custom painted black and white. Their poses were natural. Andre stood like a rebel saint, and Big Boy stood like a general. The entire cover was saying one thing: we are about to rewrite the rules. The set was simple, but the energy was cosmic. This cover became a new visual language for funk, hip-hop, and Afrofuturism. And at number 1, we got Hardcore.
They say my girl got the best album cover of all time. Yes, Hardcore, Little Kim. As a child, I wasn't even supposed to be listening to her. I had to throw on a cheetah print for her, cause what? I wasn't even supposed to be looking at stuff like this when I was a kid. But like, who was this lady? And just so we're clear, that's not only the best album cover of all time, that is the best female rap album of all time. She is the standard. She will always be the standard. Debate your mother. Debate somebody who cares, okay? I don't. The little girl in me is so happy. I shouldn't have even been listening to her music, but I'm happy, okay? Shout outs to Lil' Kim.
This cover wasn't just a photo shoot. It was a revolution, shot by David LaChapelle, a photographer who specialized in surreal, celebrity-driven photographs. The cover was intended to break every rule women have been told they had to follow in hip-hop. The set was a hotel room designed to feel like a power play, not a pinup. Lil' Kim was positioned front and center, not as an object, but as authority. The camera angle was low, putting the audience in the position of looking up to her, not down at her. Every color, every prop, every piece of furniture was styled to make sex look like a weapon, not a weakness. The cover said, "I control the room, not you." That was the shift. This image showed how women could represent themselves in hip-hop. Not subtle, not safe, and not polite. This cover didn't just sell the record. It redefined the gender role. Every one of these covers captured a moment of transformation, not just for the artist, but for the culture. But I can't help but admit there's a lot of covers I think they left off of this list. There's a few that belonged in the top 10 that I don't believe made it. First of all, I gotta put Illmatic in the top 10. I mean, that cover has been redone for decades, ever since 1994 when Nas came out with that album. I would have to put the Ghetto Boys album cover. I believe it's called We Can't Be Stopped, where Bushwick Bill is actually on the hospital bed after shooting himself in the eye. I would say Straight Outta Compton has to be on there, because if you look at that cover, it's like you're looking up from the ground at them as they're all surrounding you after they just beat you down. Ice Cube's Death Certificate. I think that has to be on there. I mean, I remember when they came out, it was like, I can't even believe he made an album cover like this. That was unbelievable. Old Dirty Bastard, Return to the 36 Chambers, with him on the food stamp. Come on now. That was dope, y'all. That was dope. I'm trying to think of some more that I think could have been on this list. Doggy Style, the animation cover, the cartoon. I mean, the fact that they had somebody draw that specifically for their cover, that's an iconic picture. I mean, let's see if I can think of anything more recently that has really blown me away when it comes to album covers in hip hop. I would say Kanye West's Graduation. After College Dropout, Late Registration, and then Graduation, where he's actually blasting off the teddy bear, that was, I mean, that's classic. It's a poster, an album cover, a t-shirt. I mean, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant album cover. That's just some of the ones I think they could have put on the list. But if we learn anything about the 10 images that made it, it's that hip hop is always spoken in pictures before it's spoken in words. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.